everyone, welcome back to a new video and welcome to the June plan with me. And so today we're gonna talk about my plans for June and also what I did in May. So we're gonna start off with the things that I accomplished in May. So I took notes on last month's video to go through step by step what goals I did complete and what goals I didn't. I had a goal of reaching 24,000 words in my romance novel that I'm currently working on, and I hit 35, I think, 1,000 words. And now it's not even the end of May, it's the 25th, and I have reached 64,000 words. So since last time I have written approximately 29,000 words, so I will say that I completed this goal. And then I also talked about this very ambitious goal, which is to complete the book in May. It's the 25th today and I am at 64,000 words. My goal is 70,000 words. I have only 6,000 words and then I'm done with the book. With that being said, it's gonna be longer than 70,000 words because I have like 7 chapters to write, but I think I will hit 70,000 words in May. But then I had a goal of outlining the rest of my book, because last time I was at halfway point and at that point I hadn't run into any problems yet. But let's just say I have run into problems now, and so I changed the whole midpoint and I did finish the rest of the outlining. So I did outline chapters and scenes for the rest of the book, and I need to outline scene to scene because that is what makes me write so fast. Because if I know what I'm gonna write tomorrow, I can write today. That's my whole motto. You will hear me talk about that in the outline with me video as well. But I did outline the rest of the book. I also had a goal of continue to beta read. I have done this. I have only, I think, around 150 pages left of the beta read, but that's going well, and I've talked about this with her, why it's taking so long. I feel kind of, you know, embarrassed to be taking this long to beta read a book because she beta read mine in like 2 weeks. But I have apologized to her and I will get it done in June. I took this photo on the 9th of May. Do you see? It's my book on Goodreads. This was so stressful, and I don't really think it should be. Like, I shouldn't have felt this stressed about this, but I was stressed. Going through the steps to getting your book like added on Goodreads and then claiming your author profile was a little bit too difficult and too many steps in my opinion. What I needed to do was to contact the librarians, Goodreads librarians, and we have a team in Sweden, like a Swedish Goodreads. So I contacted them saying like, I want you to add this book and then you need to list all the things, all the information about this book. And by that point, you are not the author of this profile. You can add, or you can ask the librarians to add whatever book you like. If you are reading a book and it doesn't come up on Goodreads, you can request that. But I wanted to request my book, so of course I did. When that was added to Goodreads, I needed to go into the book and then claim it as mine. And I went through 4 or 5 applications for this. I wrote the same thing each and every time, but on the like 4th try I did claim my author profile, and the application is just verifying which works are yours on this author profile. And I think why it took me so long was that there was one work on my author profile that I listed in the application that wasn't mine. Since my applications weren't working, I thought that I should go back to the Goodreads librarians and ask them to separate the author profiles, because there was a person with my name. So I did go to them asking if they can create a separate or a new author profile, but in the other person's name and with their work listed under that name. After I did that, I did send in a new application because then there was only my works in my author profile, and then it did get approved. So I think that was the problem, which was really freaking stupid because it said in the application that you should list every book that isn't yours. I did that, but I needed to go through the librarians first. Anyway, so that was the thing that happened in May. And then another thing that happened in May was that... Are you ready? I got my books. I got my books, and here is how it looks. And this is my author copy, so I feel like safe holding this and showing it to you guys because I have already dropped it and I don't want to touch any of the other books. And I'm sitting in front of them, but you can see here on my shelf, that right there is full of my books. Here's how it looks anyway. And I thought that I could show you the clip of me getting my package. Hej allesammans! Välkomna till mitt golv. Jag antar att det bara är meningen att man ska öppna. Som vanligt. Jag spelar dessutom in på 2 devices just nu, så vi får se hur det här går. Jag såg en skymt av dem. Åh herregud. Herregud. Alltså, titta på dem. Titta på dem. I was so excited. It was such a surreal moment, and I'm so happy to have them and be holding them in my hand, and I think it looks so freaking good with the spine and the interior as well. And if you have followed me for my like proofreading and past pages vlog, the latest I think vlog that I did on this project, we fixed the like typesetting in the book so that the first big letter in every chapter is now like sitting perfectly aligned with the most left side of the page. But yeah, here's my dedication, and I got 2, which was also a surprise because I wrote 2 but I couldn't decide on which to go for, so I sent my editor both of them, and she said that she liked both of them, so she put in both of them. And if you're interested in getting a copy of your own, as you can see, I have bought myself a bunch of copies, and so if you live in Sweden and is interested in getting one of these, go contact me on my Instagram. It is linked in the description below, or like my Instagram handle is in the description below. And if you're outside of Sweden and still want to buy this book, I do think bookshops here in Sweden do ship internationally, but I could be wrong about that. It will be available on the 26th of July on like every ebook store in Sweden. On the 8th of July you can book a book box, but that is only shipped in Sweden. So that's the update that I have on my debut novel. Yeah, writing is going well with the romance book. I'm at 64,000 words, the second chapter in the 3rd act. I think I'm on chapter 40 and I have 48 chapters. So now let's talk about what my plans for June are. And first off, an obvious one, my plans for June is to finish writing my romance novel. I have set myself a deadline of the 4th of June, but if I keep up my momentum to writing 800 or 1000 words per day, because that is what I have been writing most days recently, I will probably be done with it before the 4th of June. But June 4th is my last day. So that's my immediate plans for June. But I also have 3 weeks in June where I am off from work. So I do want to relax, just have fun and read a lot of books and do a lot of things with my family in those 3 weeks. So if I do not like edit the whole book in June or send it out in June, I am fine with that. So the 4th of June is my own deadline for the book, and then I'm planning on taking 1 or 2 weeks off from the book to just let it sit a bit, and then I'm gonna begin to edit it. Because one of those 2 weeks I am away, like I am out of the country, and I'm planning, we'll see if this goes well, but I'm planning to like detox myself from social media, writing, everything like that, YouTube, for like 1 week, because we're gonna be away with the family on a beautiful place, and maybe I will film, but I'm not gonna edit anything, think about uploading anything. I'm planning to do something that I haven't done with any other editing with any of my books. I'm gonna sit down and make like post-it notes, but like in the Scrivener version of post-it notes. I'm gonna make a new document in Scrivener. I will put in every single chapter in there to get an overview of everything. I'm gonna write what every chapter is about, like after having gone through the writing. So I will look at it in a hopefully new perspective. I will look at every single chapter and see if I need to rearrange something, if something is off with the plot beats or the flow of the story, and just get an overview picture. And then after that I will go in reading it chapter by chapter and edit as I go, because I don't really have time to sit down and do multiple rounds of edits, so I want to go through it everything at once. So it's more similar to a proofread than a developmental kind of edit or a copy edit. So finishing the book in June, having that week off from everything, I will still do an upload, but I will have filmed and edited that beforehand to get it up on that week, so that is all good. And probably the next week after I will also have already filmed and gotten ready for you, so that will all be good. So that's my plans for June, and then I'm gonna talk about what I read in May and my plans for reading in June. So I finally finished Mysteries of Thorn Manor, and I finished it actually on the 29th of April. I can't understand why this novella was needed, because the characters didn't have any more character development, like at all. We got to know more about the manor and which people lived there before and the family history and stuff, but that was the first half. okay, and that was so freaking boring. And then in the second half we got on into like Nathaniel and Elizabeth's romantic relationship and how that progressed after Sorcerer of Thorns, the book, and I found that that was actually really fun. But the first half dragged on so much that, like, this wasn't a big book, but it took maybe 3 months to read or something. I got really angry at it and I gave it 2.5 stars. And then I finished one book in May, and that was Cleopatra, or How to Be a Wallflower by Eloisa James. I read it in the Swedish translation and I gave the book 4 stars because I did really enjoy the story as of in itself, the romantic relationship, the 2 characters, them falling in love. I found that it was a really compelling romance. But what I found was so like kind of sad was that there were so many typos in this book. Did this book even have a proofreader? I honestly can't understand why it did have so many freaking errors. I read it both in the printed version, like the physical book version, and the ebook version. So I think I read the second half of the book only as an ebook, and it was the same kind of typos. Really freaking disappointing, I must say, from this. Like, it's HarperCollins, it's the new imprint, Harper Love, and I was really disappointed in having so many typos. So I was disappointed to say the least, but I still give it 4 stars because it is a good story. I just wished I had read it in English, honestly, because I don't think I would have found any typos, or not as many typos, in the English version. It was kind of sad to watch. I have so many screenshots actually on my iPad. I wanted to take pictures on the actual page to keep as well, but like, and then we have the book. And you might think that it's weird that I'm giving the book 4 stars, but the actual story was nice. Like, I found myself giggling, I thought some of the scenes were really steamy, and I'm currently reading another book from this publishing house or imprint. I'm still 50% into it and I'm gonna put that off for I don't know how long, but I really can't get into that audiobook right now. So if I want to pick up, let's say, a Julia Quinn book or another historical romance, because I love listening to them so much, I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna put off that just because I have this audiobook that I'm halfway through. And then I'm also currently reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm looking at it right now. I think I read 100 pages. And then I plan on finishing my beta read in June. I'm so excited about this because it is such a good book, but I just can't really find the time to read more than 1 or 2 chapters a day. So it's taking me a lot longer than I originally thought. I'm also currently reading The Risk by Elle Kennedy because I think you could say I'm in a reading slump, and Elle Kennedy books always tend to get me out of those reading slumps because they're so fast-paced. It's a hockey romance. So that's the books that I read in May, or the book that I read in May, and the books that I'm planning on reading in June. And with that said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what plans you have for June and what you accomplished in May, because I would love to know. Like I said, if you're interested in my book, want to know how you can buy it or get a hand of it, you can always DM me on Instagram with your questions and I will answer them. So leave a like and a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe because I post a new video every week, every Thursday, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!